In this video, we're going to do a Sonar deep dive on some of the advanced features as well as some of the basic functions on the new Simrad operating system. So again, we're at our full application page here, menu. We're going to come into Echo, and you can see we've already set this up in a previous video. So we have currently our high-wide SS175 Airmar Chirp transducer. We're standing still on a lift, so the depth will stay fairly stationary. So it'll reflect anywhere between a foot or so, depending on what it's picking up below us. And we also have our water temperature. To come in and get into your menu, like any other app that we have, two ways we can do it. We can either use our app menu button here, or we can use our app menu button on the touchscreen. This brings us into Echo settings. Our first thing that I want to point out, and for those of you that keep boats on lifts or on trailers, really important that when your boat is out of the water, that you come in and pause your transducer. You don't want that continuously pinging, especially where we're located here in Florida. Because of the heat, you can heat up those crystals and cause damage to your transducer. So whenever your boat is out of the water for a period of time, please make sure you go in. We've made that real easy to go into a pause and play function there. So we're going to go back. We're going to play that again. You can see it catches right back up. This is also where we're going to find our source. So if we hit this arrow over here, we have our sources for the different types of transducers. We have our high-wide SS175 and we have our SS175 medium. And later on in the video, we're going to show how you can put those side by side on your screen at the same time. Next thing down is advanced mode. We're going to touch on that here shortly. For now, we're going to go in and you can see where your range is at. So we can come in. Right now we're in manual range, right? So if I want to put that into auto, I put that into auto range. Now that's going to cycle in between. Now we're in real shallow water, so it's going to want to pop between the two different ranges as we hover around the 5-foot area. So for all intents and purposes for this video, we're going to leave it in 5 feet. We're going to scroll down and we're going to leave it stationary there. Next thing we're going to do is, now this is a high-wide chirp. This allows me to pick a couple different frequencies from that Airmar transducer. I can either have high chirp function, I can use a traditional 200 kilohertz, or I can use a custom 155 kilohertz. Those are three predetermined setups. I can also come in and I can do a custom frequency. So if there's a frequency that you like to fish at, really important for some of those offshore fishermen and bottom fishermen, you can come in and dial up whatever frequency is applicable to that transducer. Next thing we're going to do is go into palettes. Now we have a couple different palettes here. We have currently, we have our blue background, we have a white black background, we have a darker blue background, we have some ambient and some bright colors that will return in different colors of orange and blue. We go into a dark black background, which actually makes a lot of the echoes stand off the screen a little bit better. We get into some crazy green colors here as well, and then we do some traditional almost like downscan colors in green and red to give you a little bit type of different imagery. We also have this bottom coloring. So I'm going to go back into my normal setup here, which is that blue background. I really like that for fishing. And we're going to come into bottom coloring. And what you're going to see here is this bottom area here, which is the seafloor bottom, is going to change from this red to a brownish orange color when I slide this over. And what that's going to do is nothing is ever going to represent itself in this color in the water column or slightly above. So when you're bottom fishing, it's really nice to color this. Still gives you indication of how hard that bottom is, but it also allows you to see targets that will pop off that will be red, because that's how fish and larger fish are going to return. It's going to allow you to see that good separation between what the bottom is and what the fish is. Sometimes if you're fishing all in red, it'll almost look like where there's fish at, almost looks like it's a bottom hump. With this, it's going to actually give you that separation that you're looking for to locate those larger fish. So I really like the bottom coloring feature that we have. Next thing you're going to do, we're going to talk about downscan overlay in a video here to come shortly. We can go into our fish ID. So we can turn on fish icons, which gives us all the cool fish icons. We can also add depths to each one of those icons, and we can add noise. So you can hear the beep as they come into focus here, and it'll chirp back to you to let you know that you have that you're marking fish, and also the icon and the depth that they're being marked at, and also the size of the fish or the return. So that's a feature here that we have on the Simrad NSS 416 here. Next thing we're going to do is you can go into recording. So if you ever wanted to record a fishing area and replay it back later, you have that ability. You'll want to put a blank SD card into the SD card reader here. Again, we have two SD cards here. One that we're using for our charting. The other one is blank right now, so that allows you to put in a micro SD for a storage device. This will also allow you to, what type of sonar log you want to create. And then if you get too far into here and you feel like you've gotten too far away from the factory settings, you can merely hit this reset default and it'll bring everything back to factory settings just on your sonar, which is a nice feature if you feel like it's gotten away from you. We can come up here now and we're going to go into advanced mode, which brings us up with a bunch of different other options here. Now we bring in gain, so we can adjust our gain. So this controls the level of detail shown in the Echo Sounder panel. Right now we have it on auto. I can leave it on auto, but if I feel like I want to get a little bit more, if I'm in deep water, I want to enhance my returns a little bit, I can still leave it in auto and just add incrementally some extra gain to the return. I'm going to leave that just in auto mode for now. You can also take it out of automatic and adjust it however you see the best screen. If you dial it back too much, chances are you'll miss out on some returns. You may miss out on some bait fish. You dial it up too hard, now you're bringing in really a cluttered screen. So really finding that perfect gain function, and gain will vary depending on your gain will vary depending on your water conditions as well, and your bottom and the depth. So generally, for me, I leave it in auto, and then if I want to actually enhance some of the returns that I may not be seeing, I can hit up to a +2, +4, getting a couple hundred feet of water. I may want to actually see what's on the bottom there and enhance those colors a little bit. Next thing you do is you can come into color. Again, color is basically the same thing. You can increase the color returns that you're seeing. It controls the color strength of the return echoes, so you could dial that up. Again, if you get it dialed up too much, what looks like a really big fish may not be a really big fish. So you want to keep that in a manner that gives you the best return. This is kind of a trial and error, so while you're out fishing, you can mess around with this a little bit. If you know that you're catching big snapper or big grouper, you can go in and make sure that you're dialing that in so that you're seeing those good returns, and then just kind of leave it there. There's really no automatic mode. It comes preset at 76%, but again, you can trial and error this as you're out fishing and set this to your liking. Scroll speed. Generally, you want to leave this at normal. There are instances where you may pick up a little bit. You can see how quick and that starts scrolling off the echo screen here. Some of the things that you may miss though are some of these details here where we were seeing some hard bottom that creep down below the seabed, and it will smooth out and kind of flatten out your echo returns on the bottom. So if you're looking for those ledges and stuff like that, you probably want to stick in the normal, but again, some folks will try to run it up a little bit higher so they get a little bit more information as they're trying to find their spots. We're going to set that back to normal. Ping speed. This controls the speed between the pings, and basically when you're pinging, it comes off your transducer, it sends down a ping or echo, and you get a return, and that's how you get all the information that you see in the water column here, and also how you get the information from the seafloor. So I leave that up at max. Again, you can dial it back a little bit, and you'll get a little bit of a change in the amount of times that transducer is actually pinging. For all intents and purposes, I like to leave it as its default in the max mode. TVG. So this controls the sensitivity of the receiver near the surface, so up here. So if I was to turn that down, and again, we're not in real deep water, but you can see there's a little bit of interference that comes into here now that I'm in low. And most of the time you're going to want a real clear delineation up here at the top of the water surface. So my recommendation is you run that in medium, or you can run that into high. Next thing, you have noise rejection. This filters out a lot of the signal interference. So sometimes you get some interference, whether it's from other electrical aspects on the boat that are bleeding into the water column. This allows you to change this from high to medium to low or to completely off. We don't have a whole lot of interference in here. Motors aren't running, and we don't have a lot of interference coming off the dock, so you won't see a big change. But just note that is there if you start getting into some noise in the water column. This also allows us to do splits. So now I can do a split. So basically, where I'm running this from 0 to 5 feet, you can see this little floating channel here, or box. This is basically where I'm zooming into. So when you're bottom fishing and you want to just look a little bit up off the bottom, now it allows you to do that. So I can actually see closer to the bottom, almost like zooming in on the bottom there. Bottom lock is going to draw me a complete flat line. This is, if you're over a spot and you're over a reef, you can bring in this bottom lock. It'll completely flatten everything out, so the only thing that you're going to see there are any fish targets. So really helpful when you're doing bottom fishing. We're going to leave that on for none now. And again, when we hit the show more, this is basically kind of where we were in earlier. We have our fish ID. We do have a temp graph, so we can adjust the temperature graph overlay. You can kind of see that up here, which is between 80 and 95 degrees. We can do our depth lines to kind of show the contours off the bottom. We have A-scope. This is kind of looking down the nose of the boat and kind of showing the reflections of what you're looking for, whether it's fish or returns, in a real-time manner. And then the zoom and the range, this basically controls back to when we were doing our split. So it allows us to do our split zooms and at the different ranges that we control those at. And then we have our minute markers if we want to load in what we're seeing from a timing standpoint across the top of the scale, which is here. Okay, now going over to the screen here, we have a couple different options here. We can zoom in automatically here by using our plus and minus, right? We can expand to go to full screen, so we take out our data bar, which gives us a nice representation of the sonar. And we can also, let's say we want to mark this little ledge here, this little rock here, we can come in, we can touch on that screen, and now it gives us the latitude, longitude of that point. I can either add that waypoint, right? I can go to that waypoint, I can measure it from where the boat currently is, so I know how far back that is. So let's just say we want to add a waypoint. Boom, right there, added Echo 001 waypoint. So now the screen is paused because we touched that, right? We're still recording, as you can see down at the bottom here. So don't worry about manipulating the screen and saving waypoints or renaming that waypoint to what you want. We're still recording down the bottom here, right? So you can still see that waypoint's there. You can see our kind of our recording here at the bottom. This here is what we're looking at on the screen here. And as I scroll back or forward, it changes it. So now you can see we've brought in this area here, right? Which has this big giant return here, right? As I scroll forward, there's our waypoint. And as I move even further, I can catch back up. To get out of that, once you're done either looking at previous areas, and again, I can come in, can drop in another waypoint there, right? So it's added as Echo 2, right? So we have a waypoint here, and we have a waypoint here. And now we're back over here. For me to start doing live recordings again, or seeing the live image, all I do is hit this little button here, and now I'm back to the beginning. The last thing I want to show you is how you can do a split screen. So when we do a split screen, we can actually bring in my high-wide transducer, and I can bring in my medium transducer. So we're going to come over here, we're going to come to our home page, we're going to go to split, we're going to drag in 2 echoes. We're going to hit save. This one was in a pause mode here because we were looking at some returns earlier. I'm going to put that back to medium. So now we have our SS175 HW there, and we have our medium here. So we're running 2 different frequencies I can do 2 different palettes. I can do bottom coloring here. I can do zoom here, but I don't do zoom here. So really a good way of really dialing in your fishing experience. Make sure you're out there catching as many fish as you possibly can. Again, the depths very similar to one another, as we did our offset in our setup video. So we're showing where our offset is. So it's basically taking 0.3 feet out based upon the calculations of where the transducer is, how much the boat draws. But you can kind of see the differences between a medium and a high wide. Medium is going to be a little bit more defined. It's going to chirp at a much lower frequency than our high, and that's why the images are going to show up a little bit differently. Both of these can be independently driven, so I still have the same functions. Again, that's going to go away just as I change the settings here, but the minute I exit out of that, now I get them both here. If I'm going to change the settings on here, I'm going to go in. It's going to bring up anything that I want to set up on my high wide. But again, if I X out of that, it brings them back. Keep in mind, we can still come in and we can still adjust our splits here. So if I want to see a little bit more of my high wide, I can slide that over. I can hit the check mark, and now I get a little bit better on my high wide sonar and a little bit narrower on my medium sonar. So that's how we deep dive into settings on our new Simrad operating system, showing it to you on the NSS 416.